welcome back to another day with less anxiety. It's me, Orest, your anxiety coach. It's good to have you. Thank you for all the nice feedback about the emotional understanding and what emotions are trying to achieve and how to deal with them. That is awesome. I look forward to continuing with this. And please, do leave comments. I mean, if you're enjoying this, I know you know that you're enjoying this. But if I get no feedback, it's very hard for me to know which parts exactly are relevant and helpful for you, what would make it more interesting. Ask your questions, write down, leave some comments. Let me know what is interesting to you. And today, to continue with the idea started 2 videos ago. If you don't know what that is, just go 2 videos back. The idea that how emotions are relevant and how emotions can be used to help you be more efficient and reduce parts of the anxiety that is just not understanding yourself. So, today we are going to continue with the emotions. This time, we are going to look at a fun one, which is anger. Anger really has a bad rep. Many people don't understand why it sometimes it boggles people's mind, even when I say that it's useful. Now, we have to recognize that anger in itself brings a message, as all of the emotions. It brings a message of a feeling of unfairness. Something is not right. Some kind of a boundary has been crossed. Something that you hold dear is being treated unfairly. Now, important thing, it can be an idea, it can be your favorite team, it can be hopes and dreams, it can be your future, it can be people important to you, it can be yourself. Those are easier to recognize, but I want you to also include the concept of things that you hold dear that you feel are threatened or treated unfairly. Unfair is the key word here. When you are perceiving, and that's another key word, perceiving a sense of some kind of injustice being done to something that you care about, then you will feel a sense of anger. This is not right. This feeling inside you, its meaning is an emotional boost to your person so that you have the energy to do something about the unfairness. That is the goal of anger. That is the reason for which it exists. Now, there are endless ways in which we have seen people overreact to a situation, when we have seen that somebody, or unfortunately we might live with someone, I hope it's not ourselves, that we end up having a reaction that feels out of proportions. Now, that is another important aspect of anger, that it can and it will sometimes accumulate. Either a person that is facing a situation and you realize that someone is reacting with excessive anger to a situation, in my experience, that has been when that person either is hoarding some kind of an ingrained feeling of unfairness. Maybe they lived through a lot of unfairness in parts of their lives that could not be solved. They didn't have the strength, the power, the knowledge, the wisdom to resolve it, and they just had to endure it. But they felt that this was not fair. This is not how things should be, and they have this accumulated. If you think about this is a metaphor I like to use with my clients a lot. It's imagine just a big jug of water, a big jar that you could use to pour out some water. Now, imagine if this is the size of it, then we know that everybody has an end of their thread, or I don't know if that's even the right expression in English. I'm sorry. Everybody has a point where they explode, where they reach the end of their limit of their patience, which is just trying to hold back their anger. Now, one of the things that can happen, if you visualize this would be that jar just filling up and overflowing. Now, what can you do with this? Now, you can kind of change the size of that jar so you can endure more emotional harshness. You can train your patience so that you can resist it, restrain it when it's trying to overflow. But what happens when we overreact is it's either we have extra stuff accumulated throughout our day, that is, we just had a bad day, unfairness happened at the office that we couldn't deal with, we couldn't resolve. We have heard about just something not very nice, and we already have a lot on our mind that has filled up that jar. Now, everybody knows that if you had a bad day, you're going to react differently if something bad happens at home or with your loved ones. It's harder to maintain our patience, our calm. Now, this is what happens when someone's had a bad day. But also, sometimes I even visualize a little bit of sediment or a lot of sediment that is at the bottom that you don't even think about. It's not even your day. It's just how you've lived your life. If how someone has accumulated a sense of unfairness. And then, in my experience, people like that have a tendency to have a so-called short fuse, which is in my visual, that would be just a lot of sediment, a lot of it sometimes, and even then the tiniest thing just can make them overreact. Now, the problem with that is in the moment, something always happens. It's not just that, the person is completely reacting out of nothing. There was some kind of an event that was unfair, but sometimes it's just this much unfair, and this is the size of the reaction that you get in response, the entire thing. They respond with all of the anger accumulated. It can be, there's another version, when it's the same kind of unfairness. Like the person is fine, but with that particular kind of unfairness, it can be something that has accumulated a lot. Like if you always have to wait, I don't know, extra time for your Mexican wife that you love very much, but she takes a long time to get ready, then when it's, even if you had a good day, when it's in that particular thing, your unfairness meter already has a lot of specific parts accumulated. Yes. So what can you do with this? How to deal with anger? And as you see, there are so many things that we could go on about, but I really want to keep this video short. So I'll just give you the general gist of what can be done with anger. One of the things that you can do is, first of all, examine if there is actually something unfair happening. Sometimes, if you find out a little bit more about about the other party, about the situation, if you understand why they are doing that, now sometimes you might realize that it's not so much something that is unfair, particularly towards you. It can just be something unfair in general, and you just happen to be there. Sometimes it can just be something that the world is a little bit messed up like this, and things like that happen, and you were just in the wrong place at the wrong time to experience it. Sometimes it can be still something unfair, but maybe by putting it in perspective, like if you understand that the person that just shoved you away is running to see their kid that was in an accident, you will still feel that it was not the right way to do the thing, but you will understand the why. So first step is always try to analyze, try to understand what the situation is if there is actual unfairness. Now, second step would be doing something about it. Do something. That is why all of our emotions exist. Take action. Do something that will either fix the problem in the past, stop it from happening in the future, making sure that it stops. Try and see if there is a way to fix it, to make things right. Either fixing something from the past, I don't know, your friend forgot, I don't know, you lent them your sweater and they returned it, I don't know, with a hole in it. Okay, well, see if it can be fixed in the present. Take action. Talk things out. Sometimes in the action-taking stage, you still want to keep your mind open to the first part where you're open to analysis and you're open to have a different point of view as you talk about things, as you solve things, as you look for solutions. Sometimes that can be about the future. Sometimes you might just be in a situation that is unfair. You cannot straight up change it, but you can start planning and taking action towards making it different in the future. And of course, you also want to, of course, action is always in the present, but you can also try and make sure that things like that don't happen again. You might want to warn the person how that made you feel, how that affected you. You might want to prepare yourself. You might want to get, I don't know, legal protection. I don't know what that is. But action is the biggest part of what you can do when you are faced with unfairness. And the last thing, the third one on the list, I don't know which finger I'm on, probably this one. Third one is, after having exhausted every possible thing that you can do to fix the past, to fix the things that are happening, to get reparations for the damage done, to make sure that it doesn't happen again, make sure that there is clarity, the last part is letting go. If you still feel any sort of anger after having solved all these things, after having taken a deep look at what can be done, after having communicated, after preparing for the future, if you're still hanging on to anger, then it's time to let go. And that can also be hard. Sometimes you might face the fact that there may be things that are entirely just yours. Maybe your own past, maybe they belong into your own history. And that might be a good idea then to take a look at therapy and have someone help you sift through those, find better perspective, release things, find the strength, recognize how you can have a different idea and emotional relationship to the things that happened in the past. There is help. I have helped people in many sorts of very unfair situations that they were still carrying around in one way or another. It can be helped. It can be done. You can get better. And once you have taken care of all of these, you will be free. You will be free to be in the present, to take action, to do the things that will let you be happy and enjoy life where you feel good, where you feel things are fair, and you can achieve amazing things. And I really wish that kind of life for you. I hope you get there. And if I can help you with anything, please leave a comment. Let me see if I missed anything. If you feel like your particular unfairness is unsolvable, I'll be happy to discuss that. So look forward to hearing from you. And thank you for staying. Make sure that you do a little bit of this, because you are spending some time in understanding yourself better, feeling better, making sure that you can do better in life. That's a very good thing to do for yourself. Thank you for sticking around till the end, and see you on the next video.